Welcome to Plutus IAS. Today we are going to discuss a very important concept from the geomorphology. And the students who have opted the optional, they must be knowing how important is Davis and Penck theory for geography option. So today I'll talk about Davis theory and also I'll compare it with the Penck. Why the Davis theory, who was an American geologist, and also this has given a lot of contribution in the geomorphology. So let's see how W.M. Davis has explained the concepts. He has also talked about the same concept as I have discussed in my earlier videos as well. The first one is the concept of the geomorphology, which is the same physical processes and laws. This is the concept number one, and you have to memorize it in exactly the same way. It says the same physical processes and laws that operate today operated throughout geological times, although not always with the same intensity. That means that this phenomena has been occurring again and again, but not necessarily in the same intensity it might have occurred in the previous events, or maybe in the future, or maybe in the present. The intensity could be different, but the processes are cyclic. The second thing Davis has emphasized on, so W.M. Davis has given the theory of structure, process, and time. So he has said that over a period of time, over a geological period of time, the structures have been built. For the geological period, the structures have been built and they have undergone through the process and taken the time. So the structures could be your relief features, any kind of relief features that you find in the environment, any kind of features which you find around the world, all of them, those structures, right? And they have gone through the process. The processes could be any, for example, endogenetic forces leading to all this formation, and they have taken the time. So how W.M. Davis has explained this? He has explained this through his Davis cycle of erosion, where he has said that over the period of time, whatever has been formed on the surface of the earth, it will first go from the young stage to mature and then old. And then he has tried to explain it through the rivers and how rivers are doing the denudation in the earth's surface. For example, if I try to explain it through this diagram, this is the youth stage. This is the youth stage where the any relief feature you can take it as mounting, and it is in the youth stage. Over the period of time, it will degrade and the height of it will also come down. And in the old stage, it will lead to the formation of penny plain, right? So altitude of many valleys and floors will be formed in these areas. When I talk about the youth stage, there would be different relief features which will be formed. For example, in Himalayas, you can find the gorges, V-shaped valleys, rapids, right? In the mature stage, what kind of relief features you can find? You can find the meanders, oxbow lakes, and in the last stage, which is the old stage, you can find alluvial fan and deltas. And how will be the speed of the different processes? For example, if I talk about the young, it will be the speed of the rivers. The speed will be highest, right? The speed will be highest. It will be moderate here in the mature stage, and it will be extremely slow in the old stage. And another point which needs to be discussed here is that apart from this thing, the rate of erosion will be very high here. Rate of erosion will be high. Another feature that can be added here is how it would behave. For example, if I talk about the river, whether the erosion will happen in the young stage or the mature stage or old stage, how would be the erosion? So erosion, rate of erosion in the young stage will be very high. In the old stage or in the mature stage first, rate of erosion will be equal to rate of deposition. But in the old stage, the rate of deposition will be higher. Therefore, you can find deltas formation, alluvial fan formation. Example of it, we can find it from India, the Sundarban deltas, your alluvial fan forms there at the bank. So all of these examples we can add. While the Penck also popularized the theory, he also talked about it. But the problem with Penck was that he had given a theory which was little difficult for the people to understand, since it was given in the German language. So a lot of people could not understand his language first of all, and therefore the popularity of his theory was little lesser than the Davis. So if you see that his incomplete work due to untimely death, that was a very major drawback. Next, his obscure composition of difficult German languages, ill-defined terminology, and misleading view by the W.M. Davis. That was also one of the reasons. Now, if you look at his, now when you look at his terminologies that he has used in the theories. So first theory, the first language, you can see Entwicklung. So imagine that you are reading the theory. So imagine you are reading the theory of the Penck, and the first word that you have read from there is Entwicklung, which means development. So imagine a lot of people are not understanding the German language, and also if they are reading the theory for the first time, it would be very difficult for them to understand what he's actually trying to project through his theory. So this was the difficulty level of the theory, although he had given a major contribution, but since it was not popularized because of the language barrier, therefore Davis was getting more advantage out of it. Next is these languages that he has used. It means accelerated landform, etc. All these languages that he has used in his theory. So that was one of the major drawback of the Penck theory. Apart from that, Davis and Penck, both of them has contributed majorly in the geomorphology understanding, and every year there is two questions, one or two questions from the same geomorphology. In alternate years, you will definitely find the questions from Penck and Davis. So it's very important to memorize and understand this part of the geomorphology, and I'll bring the questions for you in the next video from the same topic. Thank you so much.